Welcome to Career High, where we dive deep into school district scandals. Just kidding. Career High spotlights visionary educational leaders who are heading up the charge in career-connected learning. I'm your host, Jeremy Smith, the co-founder and CEO of Pegasix, an entirely new kind of higher ed that empowers students to start their careers 3 years earlier and $100,000 ahead of college grads. But more importantly, my guest today is Charlie Zimmerman. Charlie's the principal of Metamora Township High School in Woodford County, Illinois. Charlie, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, Jeremy, thanks for having me. I look forward to discussing all things career and technical education with you.
Excellent, excellent. So with that, why don't we kick off with the normal kickoff question? Tell me a little bit about yourself as well as your high school.
Yeah, so I'm the proud principal of Metamora Township High School, about 1,000 students or so in central Illinois area, just a little bit outside of the Peoria, Illinois area, where a lot of Caterpillar tractors have been made over the years with everything. Me personally, I'm an alum from Metamora Township High School, graduated in the class of 2007. And I'm very fortunate to be back here kind of leading the community that I'm a part of and the community that I'm from with everything. So I'm excited to be doing that. And for me, career and technical education has always meant a little bit different. And the reason I say that is as a youngster growing up, my dad was an electrician at Methodist Hospital in the Peoria area, and it put food on the table for me growing up. So I've got a passion for career and technical education and what it can do for students, what it can do for adults, right? As you indicated a little bit there of kind of jumping right in and bypassing some of the years of college and some of the payment plans that everybody gets on. It's a great way for people to make a living and a great way to kind of give back as well. You know, we don't think of some of the infrastructure things that are created from all of our construction workers, but without those things, we're not able to do education, right? We're not able to create, we're not able to build and all of those things. So
Yeah, it's a very diplomatic way when you said payment plans. A very diplomatic way to put crushing debt. That was good. I may have to use that one. So a question: what are the career paths that your high school currently focuses on?
yeah, so our large focus for our students is for kind of that manufacturing realm a little bit, as I indicated, with Peoria being close. Komatsu also has a large plant in East Peoria and Peoria that we have students going into. So kind of the more of the manufacturing focus, but really we try to hit all of the career clusters. I think for us, a big niche in our community as well is kind of the healthcare setup. And with that, our school is partnered with OSF in Peoria, which is actually our largest employer in the Peoria area now at this point in time. But we had a med certs program that we were running in conjunction for our students this year. They could get a certificate program, they graduate right from high school, and they had a job starting at OSF to be able to work and to be able to work in the medical field as a surgical tech. So
That's great.
the medical field is kind of a large one for us. The manufacturing, farming, and agriculture is also a big push in our community. We have a very strong FFA in our building that helps support our local community and all of those things. So
Gotcha. Now, how long have you had that CTE component to Metamora?
yeah, so a very long time. I will go back and talk circa 2003 when I was a freshman student. But we do a really nice job of getting students integrated in the career and technical education classroom. We have an intro to CTE course that we have that is it's a 6-week, 5-period rotation. 6-period rotation. So 6 weeks, 6-period rotation. Students will be in the wood shop for 6 weeks. They'll get finished with that rotation. They'll go to the metal shop for 6 weeks. They'll get finished with that. They'll go into maybe our engineering lab for 6 weeks. They get finished with that. They'll go to the intro to ag for 6 weeks. They get finished there, more of the drafting, AutoCAD, digital design, things like that, and then a rotation of kind of a computer science. So we have the intro to CTE classroom. As I indicated, as a freshman student, when I was here at Metamora, I took that in 2003, and we still have it going here. Very strong, very confident class. We have about 115 or so students that are able to take that course every single year. It rotates through. So teachers kind of are also teaching the same thing. They're honing in on their craft. It's a really nice setup we have.
Gotcha. And so those are the six categories you mentioned. Those are sort of the six general paths. I'm sure there are probably specialties inside of each of those, but those are the six general paths that a student can kind of go down.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I'll just talk about the kind of the metals rotation. We have a beautiful metal shop. We have 3 mills, about 4 lathes in there, and then we have welding hoods as well. So students get a little bit in that 6 weeks. They'll work with the mill, they'll work with the lathe a little bit. They may weld just something real quick, just to get exposed to it. Because our hope is that's kind of the incubator, right? Our freshmen take that intro course, allowing them to see the different pathways, to see the different curriculum a little bit in our building. And then as sophomores, they're opened up to, now I want to take wood shop, or I want to go to auto shop, or I want to do these things, and kind of getting more on that pathway to align. Our building is tremendous. I should take some pictures and probably send them to you. In 2020, we opened. So in the fall of 2020, when COVID was hit, we had a $4 million CTE renovation that happened here in our building. We have a 5-bay auto shop. We have ag lab with a small engine shop and a greenhouse attached to it, full wood shop with the spray booth, finished technology. We have the metal shop that I indicated earlier with the lathes, the mills, portable welders, the welding hoods. My first day actually on the job, this is my 4th year being here, but I was walking through the building, just kind of getting a lay of the land, talking to some teachers. And there was a student actually working in the metal shop with the teacher, and they were building our press box to our softball field stairs. So they were literally they picked them up with our school tractor, took them out to the press box of the softball field. It saved us as a school district, quite a bit of money. The student got an actual craft that they were working on. The student is now welding for a organization here close to our high school. And it was a great opportunity. So we really, truly have just a remarkable building. I thank our taxpayers and our visionary leaders here in our building to create those opportunities for our students, because it is quite remarkable. You can walk down the hall here, and this is what I think makes Metamora Township High School the best high school in the state of Illinois. You walk down the hall from taking an AP class or a dual credit class for ICC. You walk right down the hall, and we've got students that are taking wood shop and taking auto. It's all connected in our same building. Most schools sometimes have that kind of career center.
Yeah.
Ours is all housed under the same building, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that is.
Story. We have a student who currently is at MIT, and she's majoring in biomedical science. She would have been our top of the class type student. Go-getter, was taking multivariate calculus through the University of Texas in a study hall classroom one period of the day. The next period of the day, she was down in the wood shop, and she was making a nightstand that she still has, today. So being able to offer all of those opportunities for our students, it really allows our students to kind of have that Renaissance approach, right? Like kind of find out what I'm good at, the arts, the careers, the, hands-on, whatever it may be. Let's find out what we're good at, and then pursue that as a career.
Yeah. Is there a sort of most popular career path right now? And has that changed over the years, where sort of the heat was coming for, in terms of what students were interested in?
Yeah, so I would say in the 4 years that I've been here right now, I think medical is kind of the pathway that students are on the most. I think it probably in the early 2000s was more of that manufacturing production side of the welding. So I think it's kind of been oscillating probably between those two, just again, due to our community. We have a lot of parents that work at Caterpillar. We have a lot of parents that work at OSF and in the medical field here in our area. So I think because of that, students see, hey, this is an opportunity for me to go in and try to explore those career pathways with different things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What do you think are kind of the most important elements of a CTE program?
Yeah, I think for us, the most important elements are giving students an opportunity to explore, and then also having some credentialing on the back end. So that's something I've been working on with our teachers, is to try to figure out, hey, we've got students taking these classes, kind of getting exposed to it, but how do we actually get a certificate? And also working with the employers in our region to say, hey, we have a certificate. Is this actually beneficial or worthwhile for you? There's a big push in the state of Illinois for some of the kind of CCPEs, right? College career industry type, all of that certification and everything. But when I talk to employers, they're like, yeah, we don't do anything extra. We don't pay somebody an extra $1 an hour to have that. So that's where, as a school, trying to figure out, well, what can we do to maybe work with, Matcor and some of the other welding shops here to say, hey, what can we do to try to partner with things? Parsons is another great employer here in our region. They build farm implements and things like that. We have a lot of students that'll do some work-based learning things and go work there as well. So I can't thank them enough for the partnership that we have. But ultimately, we want our students to be able to explore something that they have never seen before, maybe never been exposed to, and then find a way to kind of get some of that credentialing. And we use the phrase around here a little bit of, you can't be what you can't see, right? So if a student never has any exposure to maybe running a plasma machine or running a mill or things like that, they just never have any opportunity for that.
Right. No, that makes total sense. And what are maybe some of the more difficult elements of, running a CTE program that maybe people don't appreciate or realize, or maybe they do, and it's just difficult for everybody that way.
Yeah, I think the difficult side is just the funding of those programs. We are very thankful. We're part of a Civic is the name of the organization, but basically it's our federal and state grants that come in. We're able to fund a lot of our programs and things through that. But at the end of the day, welding rods are expensive as you have kids burning through welding rods, right? Or burning through jackets and coats or the helmets, those sort of things. When you look at the wood shop, we have students pay a course fee and they pay potentially if they're building something larger by board footage, but at the same time, we don't charge them for glue, we don't charge them for fasteners, things like that. So there is a cost, obviously, to the CTE program, but that's where for us as a school district and our taxpayers, like that cost outweighs, the benefits outweigh the cost there, tremendously by getting our kids exposed to certain things. But I would say that is the biggest barrier. If you gave any school, hey, I'm endless pile of money, right? They're going to be able to say, well, let's get these programs up and running.
Yeah.
Where unfortunately, CTE programs started taking a back seat when we started having some funding crisis. And a lot of schools actually said, hey, we're going to discontinue some of these programs because of the cost. Where one thing I will say is at Metamora Township High School, our CTE component or IT side of things has been, kind of a staple since the early 60s and has continued to be so and will continue to be so in the future because we feel the value in it.
Right. Yeah. That now, for what you say, you've about 1,000 kids at Metamora.
Yep.
How many of them are sort of on the CTE track?
Yeah, I'd say probably the CTE track where they finish, I'll call them a CTE concentrator, right? I'd say we probably have 350 maybe halfway. And that to be a CTE concentrator, it might be they took the intro to ag course and they took dual credit vet science here in our building. And they may be still going the college bound track, but they finished kind of the capstone courses in our building in that case. With that being said, our CTE concentrators 4-year graduation rate is at 99%. So our students that are taking those courses are also the ones that are walking across getting their diploma. So that's amazing. And that's another reason for us to try to build capacity of those programs is, our goal as a institution is to prepare students for what's next, right? College, career, workforce, military, whatever comes next for them. And one of the ways to do that is if we can get kids in a career pathway and they're taking these courses, we know as long as they take the capstone courses and they make it all the way through, they're going to graduate from our building. And that's the ultimate thing that we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. No. And I mean, the thing that just I feel has to help is how they can see the relevance of the education, right? In both a very tangible way, but also a very near term and direct way, right? So if I'm doing this welding, one, I get to touch and feel and experience the things I'm creating, like the girl you were talking about with her end table, which I'll bet she is prouder of that end table than almost any test she's ever passed or book she's ever read. That just end table, having your own sort of physical product. But then also they know that, again, if I'm learning welding, there are welding jobs, here in the community that I could have, and I'll be doing this, and it just, there's a motivating factor to that, right? To just be able to see the path. And it's, not 5 steps away and in some sort of indirect ways. It's just like it's what's next and it's straight ahead. And I just always think that is a hugely motivating factor for kids. I mean, well, for any human being.
Absolutely. And I think that's in education, right? Even for our educators, right? We live in a world where we want the instant gratification. If I'm working at Caterpillar and I'm welding on a tractor, right? You see that tractor roll off the assembly lines. Our teachers are in the classroom each and every day doing their very best, but they maybe don't see the product of their labor until many years down the road. And I think that's the same with a student in education, right? They may take a dual credit course or may take a course. And like you said, hey, they're preparing for a test. They don't see the outcome of that until maybe they are actually working as a doctor or a nurse or something like that. But when you are creating and you are making, you see that right away, right? That end table comes home with you, at the end of the semester or at the end of the year, you have something tangible from that versus the knowledge that you've acquired. So I definitely think, that's society right now that we're in that instant gratification mode. And I think the career and technical education allows for some of that to happen. You have a little bit better understanding of, hey, this is where I was when I started the day. Here's where I'm at now. You see the progress throughout versus we maybe are doing the work and we're not for sure where we're going to get to at the end, but we're going to get to where we need to be.
Right. Now, during the so after the program, obviously the CTE students are, a lot of them are, they're working right for the employers. But during the program, throughout high school, are students also, or at least in certain tracks, also working with employers? Do you partner with employers that way, for like the program and the projects themselves?
Yeah, so kind of going back to that a little bit, we have some students that'll be working in conjunction doing a work-based learning. So they may be actually going to the job site and working with those employers and bringing things in. We've also several times, so like for example, our woodshop class is designing and making 2 podiums. We need new podiums for our auditorium here. So again, from that side, like trying to work together, working through the design process with things. We've tried to partner with a few organizations in the woods realm of doing some prefabrication of some walls and some little kind of huts and sheds and things like that. We haven't really found an organization to really latch onto and work with fully, but I have a tremendous pie in the sky goal potentially. Is I know there's some other districts around us that have done this at one point in time, but I'd like to build a house, right? I'd like to take our students into the community, have them work with trades members, and actually, hey, we're going to build a house. Here it is, and it's now in our community for years to come.
Right. Is it
So
going to be
that's kind
your house you haven't built?
it won't be my house. No, unfortunately, it won't be. But that'd be one of those of trying to just bridge that gap of getting kids out exposure to the trades and things like that. So that's a goal of mine. I unfortunately am a tier 2 individual in the state of Illinois, so I still have about 30 years to go until retirement. So I've got 30 years to try to accomplish that, I guess is what I should look at it.
Yeah.
I get to accomplish that, right?
Right, right. Yeah, no, exactly. Now, what you said you've been a principal at Metamora for 4 years. Is that
Yep.
right? And what were you doing kind of immediately before that, leading up to it?
Yeah, so I'll go back just a little bit more of my educational background. So I graduated from college and I started as a math teacher. I taught math for 3 years at a high school, at Limestone High School, which is right here in the Peoria area as well. From there, I moved into the dean's office for 2 years. I was an assistant principal then at Limestone High School for 5 years, principal at Limestone High School for a year, and then this is my 4th year here at Metamora.
Gotcha. And so what's it like to be back home? Say you never go home again, but you did.
Yeah,
How
you do. Yeah, it's fantastic. My daughter who just turned 11, we were kind of the other night, a couple weeks ago, we were getting her ready for bed, and I was talking to her a little bit, and she goes, "Dad, you remember how you said you'd take the job at Metamora and you'd get to see us more and you'd be more at home more and everything? Like, wow, that's really worked out. That's great. I'm glad to see you more." So to me, it's been fantastic. Like that hit it right there on the note
kids have
of
good
like,
memories. They get
yes.
whether you fulfill it or you don't, they're gonna remember.
Exactly. So from that standpoint, it's been fantastic for me. I'm very, again, blessed and fortunate to work in a great school district. Our superintendent leadership is fantastic. Our school board is fantastic. For example, I was just supervising one of our basketball games. We were playing across town, and I had my 3-year-old son was on my shoulders eating a cold cut sandwich, and I was trying to keep him from beating me while we were watching the game together, and he enjoyed watching the game. But just that factor of being able to bring my kids to things again, living in the community, being a member of this community. My kids come to a lot of different events, and it's been great because of that. I've definitely been able to see my family more and be around them more, which is the main reason that I took this opportunity to get closer to them, which, my 11-year-old, as she is maybe a 16-year-old in high school, and as dad, I see you every day at work and you just get away from me. At least at 11 years old, she remembered that, I
Right.
am getting some extra dad time, which is good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And is the rest of your family still in the area?
Yeah, so my parents still live in the house that I grew up in, and I actually married my high school sweetheart. We started dating junior year of high school, and her parents live in the community as well.
Oh,
But
that's
we have
great.
4 beautiful children that are all right here. So yeah, it's pretty nice and very convenient, especially when you need some extra people to hang out with the kids for a little bit. So yeah.
That is for sure. Now, let me ask you, sort of growing up and going to Metamora High School, did you ever even contemplate being the principal of the high school at that point in time?
That's funny you asked that. So when I was growing up, I didn't really, of course, as a young kid, you have aspirations to be a professional athlete because I think we all do that are competitive at some point, right? That's just how it works. But after I got into high school, I wanted to potentially be a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon, right? And I was like, all right, that sounds like a good pathway, that sort of thing. And I had some really great teachers, some really good coaches that I just started questioning that. And my real question of that was, I was like, wow, you got to go to school for this long. And,
Yeah.
oh, what does that look like? And
Yeah.
paying for that
You'd
and
probably
everything.
just be getting out of school right now.
Yeah, yeah, probably. So to that point, I kind of then started looking and looked at a little different pathway of, hey, my teachers that I have a blast, right? They have a lot of fun in class. I had a math teacher, Mr. Willard, who was just fantastic. Of, you know what, we can have some fun here and still learn, and saw that, witnessed that, and that was something then that changed my pathway. I had a great football coach, Coach Pat Ryan was his name. He was a legendary coach here in our building, but just showed me the importance of work ethic and having fun, as well as my parents of working hard to get to achieve what you want to in life. And from there, as I was about a junior or senior in high school, when I started making the, hey, I'm going to become an educator route, I was kind of interested of, well, maybe I'm back here someday. And we had some leaders in our building at the time, like, well, maybe I am, principal someday. Who knows?
Right.
What does that look like? Would
Wow.
I ever guessed at the age of, 34, 33 that I would have been the principal? Probably not.
Right.
So I came in the building. There were several teachers that I had as a student, still here. There still are some today, but that was interesting in itself, as well. But for me, yeah, I didn't, I thought I might be back here to lead someday. And I think everything happens for a reason, and there's a calling that I'm here. And I think for me in particular, as I kind of shared the blue collar upbringing, my dad was an electrician. My mom had an in-home daycare. I was really the first person in my immediate family to really go to school. My brother's fire chief in East Peoria. He had an associate's degree. But to go to a 4-year school and university, I was very, again, blessed and fortunate to be able to play football and help fund my payment plan. So virtually I had nothing
Huh, that's
to
good.
go back to. But then after I got into it, I really liked education. I think as a competitor, again, I've always had an opportunity to lead, and because of that, I think just being a teacher coach, and I had some administrators say, you need to get your leadership stuff
Right.
accomplished and done with. Get your master's, because there may be opportunities, and you just do a good job of leading people. So I went and jumped through that hoop. I got my master's degree finished, and then from there got my superintendent's endorsement. And 2 years ago now, sorry, it'd be 3 years ago now, I actually finished my doctorate. So to come full circle to say, like, hey, I didn't want to go to school this long with everything, and then I was sitting here looking at, like, I'm going to school this long. Like, what is this about? But again, very, very fortunate to be able to finish that. And it was quite special that day that I walked across and received the diploma for that, because all 4 of my kids were there. Now, granted, my son was, only a few months old.
Yeah.
He won't
But
remember
still.
it, but
Yeah.
it was able to share that moment with them, and for them to see that education, can take you where you want to go.
Yeah.
However you go about that, whatever you do, if it's in high school and you work really hard and then you go into career, you've got that opportunity, right? Or,
Yeah.
if it is college, whatever track works for you. And,
Yeah.
and that's something that I try to instill in our students is hard work outweighs everything, right? If you're willing to work hard, no matter what you do, you're going to be successful. If you can outwork the person next to you, whether it's sitting in a classroom, sitting at the job site, whatever it may be, people are going to notice that and are going to give you opportunities because of that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And something you said a little earlier made me wonder something that I hadn't thought of before, which is, are there any teachers still at Metamora who were there when you went to Metamora?
Yes, absolutely. So I
Wow.
joke with our English department chair. Her first year here, I was a senior in her class, and we had a group of senior boys, and she still will shake her head. I'm like, hey, just so you know, it wasn't me. She's like, uh-huh, sure it was. So yeah, there's my English teacher that was here. One of my football coaches that was also my trigonometry teacher is still here. I've got biology teacher here. I think I counted when I first started, there were 15 to 17 staff members that were here.
Wow.
When I was here, and I think now it's down to, with some retirements and
Yeah.
everything, I think we're more in like the 11
Yeah,
range.
but still, that's way more than I thought. I thought you were going to say, well, if any, I thought you might say 2 or 3, but in
Yeah.
the mid to high teens to start, and still, a dozen. That's
And I think that's a testament again to our institution here,
yeah,
right? We've had teachers that have started here at a young age. They enjoy their time here. They raise their family here, and they're still here because it's just such a great place. And that's what I, again, will give you to take away from all of this today, is that, we're talking the career side of things, but we have a great school here that does something for everyone. And that's where, for me personally, like, why do I live in this community, is I don't know what my 4 kids are going to excel in, right? Are they going to be a college bound kid? Is my son going to want to go into the military? Whatever it may be. Are they working, at Parsons and they're welding? there is something that students can find, and they can find a way to be successful here in our building across the board.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And do I remember you saying one of the tracks was a CTE tracks was computer science?
Yeah, so we have all of the AP computer science principles courses as well, and then we also work with our local college here to do kind of a hardware component. And we have some students that will do that, and then they will go straight into the workforce with some of our web companies in the area
That's
versus
awesome.
those bypass going to school.
Yeah,
We have our first robotics team that is amazing, and a lot of those kids will kind of cross over. The first robotics team is sponsored by what's called McBride and Schoaf and Metamora Industries, which is right here in Metamora, right across from the high school, where they do some manufacturing. So they do some really neat stuff with that, and our students are getting exposed, to the robotic side, to where some of them go on and they get their engineering degree.
yeah,
Others say, hey, I've got enough exposure here to where I can go work at these places.
right. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. So last question I ask people is, are there any questions that I didn't ask that you wish I did ask?
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I'm kind of an open book. I look at it like I'm looking down and seeing the clock. I'm like, wow, we just talked for 32 minutes with no problem, pretty much at ease at all. I think the biggest thing maybe to share is just, our goal as a school is how do we prepare students for what's next? And the problem is it's an ever changing what's next world, right? We've got all the AI, all the computer integration with everything. We've got to be working with our students to be able to pivot very, very quickly to say, hey, maybe I'm going this route, but because I've got some exposure and other things, I actually now want to go this route and do something different. So I think for us as educators, it's hard because that target is always moving. But how do we best serve our students is the goal of our school.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. I love it. Well, Charlie, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to join me on Career High today. It's been great. I loved your kind of approach and enthusiasm, and coming back home to give what you got. It's fantastic. And again, thank you for coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Last thing I'll leave you with is I got to say it, go Redbirds.
Thanks, Charlie.